What's up, guys? It's Heartless Gamer here. I'm coming with you to another podcast. This is going to be episode 2 of the podcast. At least like the new series, I kind of started one with a buddy, but we haven't really worked on it much. But so this is my own podcast. Um, so today for the second episode, I wanted to talk about esports and competitive gaming. This is something that is a questionable thing amongst older generations of people, but there's a lot of interesting things when it comes down to the whole idea of competitive gaming, esports, stuff like that. Can you make money on it? How is it monetized? What do you do with it? They're just making people lazy. It's making kids lazy. You're not getting any real life skills out of it. So it's kind of an interesting, I guess, talk about topic in today's culture. First, I want to start off with like history of gaming. So history, for those obviously most of you do know, it's been around since God knows way before the 80s and 70s, somewhere around there. With your for like Ataris and stuff like that, Sega Genesis, but that was a little bit newer, Sega Genesis, um, and stuff like that. So, and then obviously as you progressed on, you got people who are playing these video games, and then Nintendo and Wii comes out, and GameCube comes out, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360. Microsoft obviously makes Xbox, Sony makes PS4, Nintendo's Nintendo, and so on. So that's kind of what it is. And interestingly enough, most people actually don't know this, or they're not aware of this, but the average age of a video gamer is 34 years old. Now, most people think that it's like 10 to like 15-year-olds or something like that, or under 18. That's actually not the case in most cases. It's the average overall of gamers is 34 years old. About 5 years ago, there was somewhere around like 1 to 1.7 billion gamers. Today alone, there are over 2 billion gamers in the world. So anywhere between 2 and 2.7, because in the last 5 years, there's been an additional 1 billion gamers, with obviously going into other countries like in parts of Asia, China, Africa, stuff like that, that are starting to be able to associate with the other parts of the world, and internet is obviously getting better in those countries. So obviously, that's just it's growing tremendously, and it's not going anywheres. And I do wholeheartedly believe it will be the most popular sport um, known to man, because it is a sport. What is considered a sport though, like, is something a lot of people don't know. A sport is really just like, I think it's just like physical, like a physical characteristic. But like, if you really think about it, like you look at the Olympics, right? Like, is bowling really a sport, right? I mean, it's in the Olympics. Like, you have certain sports that are in the Olympics, like skiing is obviously a sport, but swimming is a sport. Um, what's one that could not be really considered a sport? I guess, like, I mean, I argue like dance isn't a sport, but I mean, I guess some people do consider it a sport, right? So, I mean, it's an activity. I think bowling's more of an activity than it is a sport, but it is considered a sport. So, you know, NASCAR. There we go. That's a good one. People think NASCAR, it's it's just driving cars, right? How is that a sport? There's no physical contact or anything like that. Well, not really. I mean, it is a sport. There is a competitiveness of to it, right? Whoever wins in the race or whatever, however it goes. Um, so with esports, you have large competitiveness, and it's a sport that, like, a lot of people have access to. It's not, and a lot of countries, and it brings cultures together. I mean, you think of esports, you think, oh, it's just a bunch of kids just playing Fortnite. No, it's not a bunch of kids just playing Fortnite. It's a 16-year-old can win a cup and become a multi-millionaire. Well, maybe not multi-millionaire, but at least a millionaire by playing a game that he loves and he's good at. I mean, how do you not monetize that shit? If you're good at something, you should fucking monetize it. That's what it is. That's how it is. If you love something you do, fucking monetize that shit. Don't let people tell you can't do it. I think that it's obviously not going anywhere. I think that it's going to be the number one sport all over the world, not just in America, but all over the world, as it is rapidly advancing. Let's talk about like how it's monetized, though, right? Because that's a question that some people don't understand. Well, how the fuck can people make money off of video games? You're just sitting on your ass all day on your couch doing nothing. You don't know the people you're talking to. I mean, Yeah, not really. I don't see that point valid. Mainly because, like, for instance, I'll give an example. When I was a little kid, um I was playing this game. It was called Total Miner Forge, and it was it's like a Minecraft type game but better, in my opinion. And it like you would click on a certain block and it would tell you like this specific to the element where it's found in the earth and like stuff like that. So it's kind of relating science in a way and history and stuff like that. So it would give you like specifications on what that item is and when it was used and where it's used at and where you find it. So, like for me, I was learning in a video game, right? So some people wouldn't think about that stuff. Me, on the other hand, I do. I think that's important. I think it's critical. Um, so that's kind of like an example of learning and how it relates. Social skills. People think like playing video games doesn't make you social. What do you consider social? I mean, I'm talking to you and you're listening, and we're having a conversation. I mean, we're having a deep conversation about different shit. I've had really good, meaningful conversations. I've learned stuff from people just playing Xbox, and we were just sitting in an Xbox party playing, whether it was Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty. And I mean, we're having like good conversations like me and my buddies would normally have like friends in person, like no different conversations. And they were just as meaningful as any other conversation I have with anybody. Like, what? Because it's not face to face that it's not meaningful? No, that's not true. You're still talking to the person. So what if they're in fucking Texas and you're in New Jersey? What the fuck's the difference, right? And then people are like, oh, you can't be friends. You've never met the guy in real life. I was like, well, what's defined as real life? Because I'm currently living and breathing. So isn't that real life? I was like, no, you're behind a computer. It's like, okay, and what's your point? There's people that meet each other on Match.com and end up in relationships and marrying each other. I mean, what the fuck's the difference? You know? Um, so I think you can have friends when it comes to playing video games. I think that people oftentimes think that you can't because you don't physically see them. Like you've never actually seen their face in real life. I mean, I get a news flash for you. You got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. You can just send a picture of yourself. Hey, this is what I look like. Oh, hey, cool. That's what you look like. Cool, wonderful. I don't really care what you look like. You seemed like a really chill guy when I talked to you, right? So I mean, I think people are more sociable when they play video games too. I mean, they're not as shy. I guess maybe it's not seeing that person, but I think you learn who people are through video games, and you find that people do have more common things in common than you think they did. Um, is it teaching people that they can't in real life, I guess, if you want to use that term, or face to face that they can't talk to people? I don't think so. I mean, I have no problem with talking to people. Maybe I am a little shy with people, but I'm still like shy on the mic. Like, I'm not going to tell you my whole life story if I haven't known you yet, obviously, when I just played with you the first time. But, we obviously learn and we play, one time and then say, hey, cool, it sounds like we have something in common. I'll add you as a friend on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, PC, Steam, and we'll play again, and we play the next day, and then we get to know each other, and so on and so forth, right? And then maybe um, we exchange social media, and we are now adding each other on friends as Facebook and following each other on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and stuff like that. And then, right? So I mean, that's so different than being a friend, right? I mean, how else? If you don't meet people, how else are you going to socialize with other people? I mean, I think it still makes people sociable. Now, I guess going back to the monetization, we really kind of went off topic there with that whole subtopic. Monetization. How do these people make money? Well, first off, competitions, right? You got game battles, so people are making competitions. You might have like 10 people on a team. The prize might be, I don't know, $30 for the team, and you got two teams, and each person puts in a dollar each or $2 each, right? Put them together. The other whoever wins, takes first place, gets all the money, right? That's kind of like one way, right? Competitions. The other way is like some YouTubers. Well, first, smaller. Well, we'll say, I guess, YouTubers in general. There's a couple different ways, right? First one is ads. AdSense, Google AdWords, stuff like that. They'll put those ads you see on YouTube. Somebody's getting paid for those, right? Obviously, YouTube's getting paid by the company that's putting it on there, and the person's video who is being shown is also receiving a percentage of that money. And I don't know exactly what it is, if it's 45% or 35%. That person's getting money to have that ad displayed on their video, right? And obviously, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, so many watch hours in order for that to happen, and so on and so forth. So, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you should definitely go do that and help me out. Anyway, but besides the fact, merchandise, obviously, once you have a fan base, you're going to have merchandise. You're going to have t shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, sweatpants, hats, gloves, socks, maybe shoes if you're that big. I don't know, like Gary Vee, he has his own shoe line, whatever. But that is another way that could happen. There's other ways as well. I mean, obviously, like a shout out. Hey, I'm an up and coming YouTube channel. Can you get? I'll give you $50 if you shout me out. Right there, you go, $50 in your pocket. You just have to say, hey, go check out Turtle Beach X145 on YouTube. He's a great guy. Watch some of his videos. I really love his content. I think he's an up and coming guy. Right. So that's another way. So that's how they're monetized. I mean, there are other ways, endorsements and stuff like that. Like if you look at Ninja, right? He started as everybody starts with 0 followers. He started with zero. He's been playing for almost a decade between streaming and making YouTube videos and stuff like that. And he just blew up one day, and right now he's one of the very well-known gamers around the world. Was it Fortnite? I don't know. He was starting to become well known before Fortnite, so I think Fortnite definitely helped him by some means. But yeah, so sociable. I mean, we kind of talked about how you can be sociable when it comes to gaming. Why do I now? Maybe that's a question you're wondering this whole time. Why do I think that it's going to be more popular than any other sport played, even than soccer and stuff like that? Because everybody's playing it, right? You whip out your mobile phone and you're going through Google Play Store, right? And you say, "Oh, hey, that game looks cool," right? There you go. You're playing that game now, right? You are now a gamer. You are physically playing a video game that you said, "Oh, hey, that's stupid," because he's spending his whole day that. No, it's a form of entertainment, right? Some people, it's a form of therapy. I mean, I know people who've been through deep times in their life between depression and anxiety, and actually playing video games has helped them not want to kill themselves or not want to harm other people, or it relaxes them, right? So, I mean, you just think that it's a form of entertainment, but really it's not. It's a form of helping people cope with pain sometimes, or maybe they don't want to talk to certain people, but then they talk to their friends on Xbox or PlayStation, and then those people that they're talking to is actually helping them, giving life lessons. So I think that's critical, that people should understand that, like, there's more to just video games, and it's not a fad. It's not going anywhere. People thought the internet was going to be a fad, and now look, we use it every fucking day. So to say that and sit there and say that video games is not going to be anything, it's going to be just another fad. I have a newsflash for you. It's going to be bigger than any other thing in the world. It's already getting bigger, and it's only going to fucking grow. It's not going anywheres. Especially with VR and AR and that stuff coming out, it's just going to be more virtual reality stuff. Um, they say technology doubles every 18 months. I mean, I can tell you right now, video game world is doubling every 18 months as well. And with new technologies comes better performing systems and stuff like that. And it becomes limitless. I mean, the amount of jobs it creates, what it takes to put into a game, from the game writers to game developers to computer programs and coding and artwork and writing and all the financial backgrounds of this stuff of these companies and stuff like that. So to sit there and say that it's not going anywhere would be ludicrous, because it's going somewhere. It is the next big thing. So to say that, it would be stupid of you to think that, or anybody really who thinks video games isn't going anywhere, because honestly, it's only blowing up. And honestly, in the next 20 years, if this is the new trend, it really is a trend now. It's becoming bigger and better. People are saying that if I think there was this, I don't know if it was a study or there was an article come down from the World Health Organization saying that, like, oh, if you play video games this too much, it's now a disorder, a mental disorder, or some kind of disorder. No, it's not a fucking disorder, because everything these days is now a fucking disorder. I mean, come on now. So I think if you play video games and you're passionate about it, you should fucking play video games, and don't let people tell you anything. If you want to become a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer or whatever, and you want to make videos, or you just want to edit videos, you can find people that make good videos, and you can edit for them, and they would love for you to edit them, and you can monetize on that shit, right? Um, so you gotta, if you love what you're doing and you're passionate about it, the money will follow. That's another thing I wholeheartedly believe. Yeah, I'm nobody right now, but I believe I will be somebody one day. And I'm kind of partly documenting the journey right now with the podcast, my YouTube channel, stuff like that. So that's why I'm also branching out to a podcast. And obviously this is the second episode, so what you will obviously hear from my podcast is other inspirational stuff that I've heard collected with me, stuff I've heard along my way in my journey. And obviously gaming will definitely be a big thing in that. And that's kind of where I'm going with this too, right? Um, That's why I felt the need that the second episode should be about gaming and what people think about it. And I think that people might laugh at you and think you're an idiot and don't know what you're talking about, and you can tell them to go fuck off because honestly, it's going to be the next big thing, and it's fucking here. It's staring you down in the fucking face, saying, "Hey, motherfucker, come play me. You know you'll enjoy it." And honestly, there's a game for everybody. You got sports games, you got competitive games, you got like relaxed RPG games, building games. You know, and honestly, I think video games really make somebody creative. And it really teaches problem solving skills that you don't really think. But like, I guess for instance, like you're trying to solve that video game problem. Like, hey, how do I unlock this door to get in here to get this like golden weapon? I don't know. Think I'm just throwing something off the top of my head. Like, how do I get to this point in this video game where I am now the top CEO in this company? Like, I'm playing a video game where I'm the CEO, trying to be the CEO. How do I get there? Something like that. So it has a lot of skill to it that people don't really think about, and it really shocks me that people just like let it go by or something. But I'm gonna tell you this right now: I truly believe video games are the next big thing. They are here, and I hope you guys are enjoying and you guys love it. And if you guys don't love it and it's your thing, so be it. Right? Don't put somebody else down because it's their thing. Um, right? You always want to be positive in everything you do, and maybe you just love playing video games casually, and you don't want to make money off of it, and that's totally okay too, right? Um, but if there's people that are trying to monetize that shit and you like what they're doing, support them, right? In any way you want. And I truly think that there is a game for everybody. I don't think video games is going anywhere, and I think that people will definitely start realizing that, like they did with the internet. They thought the internet was just a fad, and now it's what we use everyday life. Hell, your phone is more powerful than the president 40 years ago, Ronald Reagan and people of him. And around that time, way before that time, your phone is more powerful than what they used to launch a rocket if they weren't going to war. All right. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, episode 2. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I don't know how many people are going to listen. It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 10, it might be 100. I don't know. But I definitely want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Um, and obviously, whatever form of social media you're hearing this on, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, definitely I'd like to know your feedback on the topic, and definitely contact me in some way, whether it's in the comment section, a DM, whatever. I want to get your thoughts on that. What ideas you'd like to hear in a podcast from me, topics you might want me to talk about. Um, just follow my channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and that's what I got for you guys today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, episode 2. I'm gonna be out of here. See you later, guys. Bye.